The World Championship leader has just made a decision that left everyone speechless. Kimi Antonelli, the guy dominating Formula One, has confirmed he will accept a penalty in the most important race of his life. And the place chosen to serve it isn't just any place, it's his home. Stop for a moment because what's happening inside Mercedes is startling. The team that opened the season with 6 straight wins, the one that seemed untouchable, today finds itself making desperate decisions just to avoid losing everything. And this move regarding Antonelli is proof that something behind the scenes isn't going as planned. Before continuing, do me a quick favor. Subscribe to the channel and write one single word in the comments, courage or madness, so I'll know how you judge this choice. Now let me explain everything step by step. Let's go in order because you need to understand clearly what happened. In Formula One, every driver has a limited number of engine parts they can use during the season. If they exceed that limit, a penalty automatically kicks in. And this penalty means one thing only: starting further back on the grid, losing precious positions before the lights even go out. Up until now, Mercedes had managed to avoid it. But that moment has now arrived. And here comes the part that made the paddock explode. Antonelli has confirmed he will serve his penalty right at Monza, the Italian Grand Prix, his home race in front of his own people. You heard right. The young Italian phenomenon, whom an entire nation is waiting to see triumph on their own soil, has voluntarily chosen to start penalized right there, in the place of his dreams. Stop and think about what that means. Imagine being the guy who made an entire country fall in love. Imagine Monza's grandstands packed, thousands of fans wearing your jersey, waiting only to see you win in front of them. And then imagine having to get in the car knowing you'll start from the back with a mountain to climb. A blow to the heart. For him and for all his fans. But why do it? Why right at home? And here lies the real crux of the matter. Antonelli explained it with cold, almost ruthless words. He said that right now he's thinking more about the championship than about the home race. He said that since he has to serve the penalty sooner or later anyway, Monza is one of the tracks where it's easiest to overtake and recover positions. So, with the clear head of a veteran, he decided to sacrifice home glory in order to protect his lead in the championship. And it's a decision that divides everyone. On one side, those who call it genius, a mature, calculated choice, worthy of a future champion. On the other, those who call it sporting betrayal toward his own fans. Because for an Italian, winning at Monza is worth an entire career. And giving that up, even just for strategy, is something many can't accept. And to truly understand the weight of this choice, you need to know what Monza represents. It's not just a circuit. It's the temple of speed, the cathedral of Italian motorsport, the place where every kid raised on bread and Formula One dreams of raising their arms to the sky. An Italian hasn't stood on the top step at Monza in a very long time, and the whole nation saw in this young man the chosen one to break that curse. The shirts, the flags, the chants, everything was already ready for the celebration. And now, instead, that dream risks turning into a desperate comeback from the back of the grid. That's why this decision hurts so much. And if you too feel all the tension of this choice, leave a like right now and share it. Because what I'm about to tell you now shows that behind this decision lies a much bigger problem inside Mercedes. Because the real question is another one. Should a championship leader with a huge lead really find himself forced into these desperate choices? The answer is no. And the reason Mercedes has reached this point is the part nobody wants to admit out loud. Their reliability, which should be their strong point, has become a problem. Too many parts used up, too many failures, too many issues with that very engine that seemed unbeatable at the start of the year. And now comes the heaviest confirmation of all. Because Mercedes team boss himself, Toto Wolff, has admitted something few expected. He acknowledged that his team has ended up out of sync with its rivals in car development. He admitted, in effect, that Mercedes has lost the rhythm. That while they were slowing down, Ferrari and McLaren were racing ahead, gaining precious ground. Stop for a second on this image. The team that dominated, that won hands down, that seemed to have the championship in its pocket, now admits with its own voice that it has fallen behind. That's not a small detail, it's an earthquake. Because it means that huge lead from the start of the season is melting away like snow in the sun, race after race. Let's rewind the tape for a moment. At the start of the year, Mercedes seemed to be from another planet. Wins in a row, rivals humiliated, a dominance reminiscent of the team's most glorious eras. Antonelli was flying, winning race after race, and seemed headed toward a record-breaking world title, the youngest champion in history. Everything perfect, everything under control. And then, slowly, something started to crack. The failures, the reliability problems, the rivals closing in, and that huge margin, which seemed unbridgeable, began shrinking point by point. Today, Mercedes still leads the race, it's true, but not with the same calm as before. And this penalty at Monza is the clearest confirmation that the team is walking on a thin line. And now, connect the dots. On one side, a champion forced to sacrifice his home race to protect a lead. On the other, a team admitting it has lost the pace of development. Does that seem like the picture of a calm, self-assured team to you? To me, it looks like a giant that has started to tremble, right at the moment when everyone thought it was unstoppable. And here comes the poisonous question, the one nobody wants to ask out loud. Is Mercedes managing the championship intelligently as it claims to be doing? Or is it simply trying to contain the damage of a situation that's slipping out of its hands? Because it's one thing to choose where to lose something, it's another to be forced to do it because you have no alternatives. And the difference in a title fight is everything. I'm not selling you certainties. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you how it will end. But when the championship leader is forced to start from the back at his own home race, and when the team boss admits he's lost the pace, the clues start pointing all in the same direction. Mercedes is no longer the steamroller it was at the start of the year. And think also about what all this means for the title fight. Because behind Antonelli, there aren't just any rivals. There's a Lewis Hamilton in full rebirth with Ferrari, hungry for a title that's been missing for too long. There are the blazing fast McLarens. There are teams growing stronger precisely while Mercedes slows down. And every point lost, every position thrown away, now counts double. In such an uncertain end to the season, a penalty in the wrong place could really change the course of the championship. And don't forget the other silent protagonist of this story, George Russell. He too is close to having to serve a similar penalty. He too is in the same boat, which means Mercedes doesn't have just one problem, but two at the same time, with both of its cars forced to deal with the same difficulties. A double headache right at the worst possible moment. Now, though, it's your turn to speak. And I really want to know, do you think Antonelli made the right choice, sacrificing his home race to protect the championship? Or did he make a mistake his fans will never forgive him for? And do you think Mercedes still has control of this championship? Or is it losing it piece by piece? Write it in the comments. I want to read every one of your words without filters. And before we say goodbye, one last thought. If you think this is the first real sign of a crisis inside Mercedes, hit the bell and stay with us, because we'll bring you every single move of this battle until the end. There's only one truth. The team that seemed to have everything under control today is forced into painful decisions and uncomfortable admissions. The leader gives up his home race. The boss admits he's fallen behind. And the once huge lead is thinning race after race. And the question left hanging in the air is as simple as it is unsettling. When even the championship leader starts playing defense, is he still the one in charge, or has the title race just been reopened by those chasing him? Think about it, and then tell me,